One Program Story, Outdoor Learning Experiences by April Crocker and Buffy Marshall. Buffy Marshall and April Crocker are longtime early childhood educators who both have a passion for teaching young children in naturalized learning environments. The program featured in this session is Friendly Avenue Christian Preschool, located in Greensboro, North Carolina. It is a model outdoor learning site and welcomes visitors for tours. This content was originally facilitated and filmed during Equip's very first community learning event held on November 1st, 2014 at GTCC in Jamestown, North Carolina. Hi, this is Nicole McCaskill, Community Learning Coordinator for Equipped. Thank you for participating in the upcoming recorded content. At the end of the session, you will click a link to complete an evaluation. The evaluation allows you to receive a DCD-EE training certificate. You will be asked to agree to an online learning honor code during the evaluation process. The online module content should take about an hour to complete, including the evaluation process. The total DCD-EE training credit for participation is 1 hour.
Buffy Marshall has her associates in early childhood education and is currently serving as the lead preschool teacher and SHAPE NC staff liaison at Friendly Avenue Christian Preschool. She has been working as an early educator for the past 22 years, and she is a devoted mother to 3 boys. She loves spending time outdoors. April Crocker graduated with an associate's in early childhood and has been serving as an early educator for the past 21 years. April enjoys babies, country music, and spending time with her 2 sons. She is currently the lead infant teacher at Friendly Avenue Christian Preschool. So let's give a hand to both of our next presenters.
Good afternoon. My name is April Crocker, as she said, and I love working with my babies. I've been in this same classroom for the past 11 years. As you can see from our first picture, we spend probably about 3 hours every day outside. And this is one of our toddler friends looking at our butterfly bush.
And I just want to clarify, you said about 3 hours outside?
Yes.
Okay.
We spend a good hour and a half in the morning and in the afternoon.
Okay.
For our school, we think attitude is the most important thing. That we believe that if you as the teacher is happy, then you can have your coworkers be happy, you can have the parents be happy, and the children be happy. Because happiness is contagious. And also that if you're happy, that affects how other people see. But as you can see from these 2 pictures, I was just trying to demonstrate how some people who aren't used to being outdoors and taking children outdoors can feel overwhelmed and maybe even mad because the babies are going to get dirty. But as you can see from my face and what I normally look like, we know that being outdoors and getting fresh air makes all the difference in the world. These are just a few shots to show the different staff attitudes. As you can see, we actually take our small infants outside and we feed them their bottles outside. They love being fed outside. We have one of our teachers holding one of our smaller infants looking at trees. They love watching the wind blow the trees, the shadows that happen from the things. We walk them around so that they see lots of different views from the playground. In our far picture, you see one of our co-teachers, Miss Ann. What they are actually looking at is we grew green beans. And they are actually grown on a vine, and it has an arc in it, so the children can actually walk up underneath the vine and pull the green beans themselves. They like to pull them. They count them as they're pulling them. So that's just some of our fun that we like to do. Our next picture is all about families, because if we have a good attitude, then our parents have a good attitude. As you can see, every summer we do Mud Day. And this first picture, or actually the first 2 pictures, are during one of our mud days. This mom put her in her best clothes that day, but decided that, hey, dirt is dirt, and it was fun. We also encourage our parents to come and join us for Mud Day on our playground. Noah and his mom, as you can see, had no trouble joining in our fun that day. She, from day one, has loved dirt. The first time it got dirty, I thought she was more excited than we were. As you can see over here in the far picture, some of my toddlers I actually have now in my class, you can see their little heinies are no longer clean. But that happens as soon as we walk outside. We get outside, we're in the dirt, we're having fun. So we want the parents to realize that play is dirty and play is fun. We like to, this is another one of our mud day pictures, sorry. I just love this kid, he cracks me up. We like to communicate that our philosophy and some of our best practices to help with the families and the community around us is that play is learning. So the best way for a child to learn is to be out in the environment. You can't learn everything from being inside. We can bring as much in as possible. We can bring in our garden vegetables, but it's just more fun to be out in it and to experience that. As a lead teacher and staff at our school, it's very important that we are a resource to the parents, that we are there to help them understand everything we do and why we do it and what the benefits are for the children. We have to model good attitude, good behavior. We have to model the just the whole grasp of being outside. And that fresh air, a change of scenery every day will change your attitude and the babies in your classroom's attitude. Because once we get outside and we're not in the room and we're not all crowded, they also have the ability to explore and go where they choose. We don't ever say, oh, this area is off limits, this is not a good place for you. Once you can choose where your body wants to go, you have at it. You just have a great time enjoying your environment. And we also have the commitment to grow. We're always trying to learn and grow new things. We learned, right now we are growing gourds for our first time. And so I had to do a lot of research on gourd growing because I wasn't really familiar with gourds. But now we have learned what gourds are like, and we've probably already got like 10 gourds that we've got off the vine. So now we're just waiting for them to dry out. As you can see, and one of my favorite things, and I tell parents from the very first time I meet them, even with a 6-week, 8-week-old baby, play is dirty. There's no way to come around it. When you play, you're going to get dirty. And if you'll notice, my friends here, we actually have a mud pit that's on our playground every day. And they get in there with their scoops and their buckets, and they just make, we call happy cakes. They like to make little happy cakes in their little cups. If the mud dries out, sometimes we have been known to put hay bales in it, loosen up hay things. We just love to bring more and more in. Sometimes we bring leaves because our playground is a courtyard. So we are still a growing outdoor environment. So we sometimes will bring in things to put into our pit. And we really encourage just play, play, play. As you can see with this, they're using all their senses. And yes, that means sometimes they taste dirt. But we just kind of redirect them, and we talk about how when we go inside we'll eat a snack, but it's okay to taste dirt. It doesn't do anything to you. And textures. Textures are a big point of what helps us grow. Some of the benefits for being outdoors is, of course, vitamin D. Everyone needs vitamin D. It makes us feel better. It puts a smile on our face. When we get fresh air, we just feel relief. But also we need to, there's a new term that everyone needs, vitamin N. And vitamin N is when it's a new term, and it's basically where you have nature deficient. The children aren't getting the nature that they need. A guy named Richard Love, is that how you say his name? Louvre. He wrote a book called Last Child in the Woods, and it's really good. They're talking about how we don't just need the vitamin D, we need the vitamin N. Everyone. We have the connection and appreciation for being in the nature, and also being outside, interacting with the younger infants and the older infants interacting together. And we also play with our toddlers. They come and join us on the courtyard every day. You just see all this emotional support that they have for each other. The older ones will come over and sit and play with the smaller children, and then as the smaller children begin to crawl and move, they love to explore and play with their toddler friends. And of course, you get plenty of physical activity outside. Some of the ideas that we use for math in our outdoor learning environment, of course, is counting. This is one of my friends, Lucas. You can see that he is counting green beans. And he did it for a very long time. He picked some green beans and he counted 1, 2, 3, and he did this over and over again because that's their place. He can reach it. He could do it all alone. Sorting, you can sort rocks. You can sort mulch by the size. We can talk about the height and depth of things, different sizes, and it's just great to be out there and have all these hands-on real experiences. We have our gourds, our green beans, and blueberries. We grow blueberries. And they actually eat the blueberries. They actually go up and pick them and count them and eat the blueberries. We encourage that. Some of our science that we do in our outdoor learning environment, of course, is sensory. Because to explore the quality, observations, and changes in nature foster their curiosity. So as you can see down here in the bottom picture, we have a little fellow that was helping water our bushes. Because we teach them that for things to grow, they need sunlight, water, dirt. So he was helping us to grow our bushes. We have really just started discovering more and more insects on our environment. That's a praying mantis. We've just in the last couple years gotten a lot of ants and roly-polies, and the children love when they find the roly-polies in the dirt. This is another one of my friend at the butterfly bushes, and then as I was just speaking of, this little friend is up there eating blueberries as she found them. And of course, don't forget the little tiny babies. They can't really go and explore as they choose, but we every day we take a blanket out. Underneath our blanket we put down a shower liner. It helps keep the blanket dry and our friends from getting wet. But we take that out every day. We put it in different places. We put it where they can watch the trees and the shadows. They like to look for bugs because you can put them on their tummy. They can see what's coming near the edge of the blanket. They love just going on walks and being able to touch the trees and the bushes. We also use a lot of balls. They love rolling balls back and forth with us and other friends. And it's really cool how the older toddlers will sit and play with one of the smaller kids. They'll roll a ball back and forth together. We also do a lot of things that we do inside, we do outside. We take books outside every day. We read books under the trees. We take blocks out. Of course, we have all different textures, soft toys, and musical instruments. We're a big musical instrument class. And so we will even take our CD player outside and sing songs. They just really get a big kick out of that. And then, of course, our older infants and our toddlers. They find something new every day, I think, to do when they're out there. One of our favorite things, and I wish I'd had a picture, but we have a sensory table that we bring and set up. We sometimes put water in the sensory table. We also put herbs in it, different leaves, mulch, anything natural we like to put in our sensory table, and that is one of their favorite things. We pick our vegetables. We also have a sand little pit. And that is a really popular item for the toddlers. They love to sit and scoop and dig and fill and dump. We do that for hours. They really enjoy playing with balls. We like to toss balls. We also bring out baskets where they can throw the balls in and then dump the basket and throw the balls in and dump the basket. We have lots of push toys, wagons, and riding toys. The smaller infants like to ride in the wagon with the older ones pushing them. They think that's fun. We have a bridge that we can walk across, so we can count how many steps we walk across the bridge. We can look over the bridge to see what animals or insects we can find. And right now we're actually seeing a lot of butterflies. I think the warm weather caused our bushes to bloom again, so we have lots of butterflies right now. So the toddlers are having a really good time with that. And also we can bring different items out to our playground as well. We just had a bunch of pumpkin fun on our playground this week. These are some different textures and things that you'll see. One of our friends here is walking on the little path that we had made out of the tree cookies, and that was really fun for the kids to do. They like to count their steps when they're walking. We bring crayons and paper out. We love to color. We have an easel outside as well that we do painting. This is when we had our little hay bales that we brought in, and my friends just loved sitting in the hay bale, the texture. They would sit and play with the hay forever. They thought it was awesome. More about social and emotional. Our school also does this baby circle time that we do once they can even listen to us. We bring out the babies and we sing songs, and we encourage all the children to hold their own baby, and we sing little songs about holding your baby up. Can you rock your baby? Can you kiss your baby? And so that's what this one picture is demonstrating. And there's one of our friends pushing another friend in the wagon. They love to explore the world around them. So if we give them the opportunity to go out into the world, then they explore. There's a whole lot of observation and investigation. The kids every day will find new things that we as teachers sometimes overlook. We didn't even notice that there was a gourd that had fallen off the plant the other day, and it had a hole in it. And two of the toddlers brought it to me to show me that Miss April missed that the gourd fell off of the plant. But we talked about why it had a hole in it, and they put their little fingers in it. So it was just really fun. Because being outdoors gives children a sense of freedom to move, explore, and play the way they choose to. And then this is a picture to show the transformation our school has taken. This is what we first started with, a courtyard between 3 buildings. It was just a sidewalk and some grass. But over the past 4 years, we have added a little bridge, benches. You can see the little archway here is where our gourds are growing, but all down the length of that building are different types of pots, and in all those pots are different herbs and flowers, and that's where our green beans are as well. We still have our little sandbox. We have the sidewalk for them to run, explore. The toddlers love to run and chase each other. But this just shows you little things, what you can do with little things. Simple steps for any space. You can plant some rosemary in a container. When you plant the herbs, the kids really enjoy the scents, the smell that they get from them, because herbs are so strong. And the children will be the first one to be like, oh, what is that? We install a butterfly bush, because instantly that was probably one of the first things we put on our courtyard. And within a few weeks, we had tons of little butterflies. Bring in objects from nature, loose parts, bales of hay, pine cones, large stones. Of course, like I said earlier, you can place your blanket on the ground for the non-mobile babies where they can see lights, shadows, and feel the wind and watch the branches. And also, it's really cool if you get some big stumps, you can put them down, and then as time goes on, if you move them, you'll find all kinds of creatures and little things that have made that their home, and the children really like to do that. So, for us, we say outdoors, why yes, why not? And this is one of my friends who is proof that going outdoors really does put a smile on your face every day.
I am Buffy Marshall, and I am a lead teacher at Friendly Avenue Christian Preschool, and I work with 4- and 5-year-olds. Yeah. And I love having fun. We're at work all day, and I refuse to work somewhere that I'm not having fun. I refuse to go somewhere that I'm not having fun. And at Friendly Avenue, we're about having fun because our administrator said if you're not having fun, you're doing something wrong. And I totally agree with that. Yes, I do. That's fine. That's fine. For me, like you read or heard, I've been doing this for 22 years, and I'm still 4 years old. I'll turn 5 on November 13th. So y'all can look us up and shoot me a happy birthday if you want to. So I'll be 5 years old then, but I've been doing this a long time, and like some of you have heard already, that was in the little breakout section, I love being outside. I was outside from the day I can remember. And when we were outside, we did whatever we wanted to do. Because normally Mama and Daddy was not outside with you. So you could get dirty and make those mud pies and get the relapse later. But what you're seeing right now is, like you also read or heard, I am the staff liaison at Friendly Avenue for our SHAPE project. We were really enjoying this project, and I was blessed to be a part of it. And the one thing that they said that really made me even more excited was, what did you do when you were young? Did you go outside? Like, yeah, I went outside, yeah. And then when we sat at the state of NC State to make plans for our outdoor space, they started saying, think of all the words with ing. And that was so powerful for me, because outside is where we are exploring, we make observations, or we observing, and we're playing, and we're doing lots of things that sometimes we probably don't even categorize. And when we started this project, that spoke to me, because that touched something that I was passionate about. I was passionate about being outside. I was passionate about connecting with my friends or my family, which my class is like a family, and getting them out there. And just like April said, it's about attitude. At Friendly, it's about your attitude. And outside, it's even better. Why? Because I can yell. I do not have to use my inside voice outside. I can see my friend over there. Hey, I see you over there! And then the toddlers over on the other side are like, what is Miss Buffy doing? You know? But and then my children do that too. Miss Buffy, come over here! Hello, wait a minute, I'm coming! I'm enjoying my space. And I can yell and I can scream and I can run. I don't have to use my walking feet if I don't want to. And this is what brought that out. It's like, yeah, somebody get it. Somebody's in my head. And this is what we sat and did. And we wrote the blue that you see. I know you can't see the words, but the blue are all the blue and the purple are all the ing words. And then the green is the interest centers outside. We can have a dramatic play outside. We can have a sensory garden, or we like to call it a salad bar. We had a salad bar where the kids would just go and pick lettuce and start eating it. And we had some Malabar spinach. Has anybody ever heard of that? Oh, it's high in protein. I didn't. But then to see it grow and then see everything and the kids would go, Miss Buffy, oh, this is so good. And who says kids won't eat greens? But we grew that and they ate that. And this was something that we did at State. So back in the day, I started a while back, and I loved worksheets. Oh, the cycle of a butterfly, we can color that, and I can be creative and make my own color. But then, as I learned more and wanted to experience more things, and I wanted my children to experience those same things, because I feel like I'm a partner to them in learning. And so we have a butterfly bush as well at our on our outdoor space. And we found another butterfly. That was so exciting to us, because we saw monarchs. And, oh yeah, Miss Buffy, that's monarch, and da-da-da-da. They could tell me more. And then there was another one, and that's a swallowtail. Has anybody ever seen those? Yeah? Yeah, it was so exciting. Oh, we want to touch it. We want to feel it. Oh. And that right there, if I could show you guys videos in every moment and their families, oh my gosh. So it took me away from that, from the one up top, the worksheet, the coloring sheet. This is the life cycle of the butterfly. So we started to make observations on the life cycle, real life in nature. And not only that, in the classroom, we talk about patterns and sequencing, and oh, that looks so great, you did a good job, but let's take it a step further. So what we like to do at Friendly is just provide opportunities for them to do sequencing and sorting and patterns in our outdoor space. And this is what we came with. And I'm somewhat so excited sometimes that I forget to bring my camera wherever I am, but sometimes they're patient enough to say, can I get a picture of your work? And this is, oh, Miss Buffy, look at this pattern, look at what we did. And this is my friends here engaging in sorting and making patterns, problem solving, and taking turns. And they would line up at the top near the back at our sandbox and come all the way down. And then what you can't see past the ending here is the boys, some boys were over here still continuing that pattern all the way up to our swing set.
That's the biggest pattern I've ever seen.
Me too. And they were going around trying to find as many loose parts as they could. And we wanted to make sure that we provide enough things that they could create the biggest or the longest pattern ever.
And that was physical.
Yes.
That was very physical.
Physical.
Too.
Problem solving. This friend, one morning, and like April said at Friendly, we're outside all day. And we're kind of the older class before the school agers come, so I am at work at 7, and we're usually outside between 7:15 and 7:30, and we stay till 9 o'clock. And then we eat, we have some inside time, and then we go back outside. And then after lunch, we're back outside. And then we come in and we rest, and we're back outside. Because learning not only happens in the indoors, it happens outdoors too. And right here, what you're seeing is my friend here found some string outside. And he says, oh, look what I found. I said, well, what are you going to do with it? He said, I don't know. So I said, well, do you need any help? Maybe. And I said, well, can I follow you around? Sure. And I followed him, and he ended up picking up sticks. And we're doing a project approach to learning, and we're working on trees. And we are really excited about sticks. And so that's how he captured those sticks, because we had been talking about them, bringing them in, and things like that. So he got these 2 sticks, and we do a letter of the week. And T was not our letter of the week, but T is the beginning of his last name. So in the first part, what you see in this first picture here, his first name begins with A. So right here he has 3 sticks, and he made an A with it. And then you see the string on the side, and he was trying to figure out how he was going to get that string on. He didn't ask me any questions. He was just working and trying to figure it out, trying to fix that problem. And then he took one of the sticks away. In the next picture, there's a child looking on who's engaged in his work, trying to figure out, what are you doing over here with these sticks? And then by the third picture, he formed his T, but then he was still trying to figure out, how am I going to get this together to stick? And you can go to the next slide. And that's what he came up with, all by himself. And not only did that represent problem solving, but he actually encouraged another child. And unfortunately, I couldn't get the video to play, but I had a video to show you of another child who was encouraged by this child to make the letter of the week, which was W, and he found 4 sticks. And I asked him, could I videotape his work? And he said yes. And I was asking him, well, what are you doing? I'm gonna make a W. Well, how many, you're making them out of sticks, and how many sticks are you going to use to make a W? He said 4. I said, okay. But on the video, and I hate that you guys couldn't see it, when I was standing in front of, like, if you picture this table and picture a kid on the other side, I was standing like on this side. So when he made his W, he made it where I could see that it was a W, but facing him it looked like an M, but he positioned it so I could see that he made a W with his 4 sticks. Oh, I love this. And kind of like what you've already heard today, you know, it's so easy to grab a textbook or a book and read about bugs. But outside, I heard Miss Sandy say, you can't teach camouflage no better than this. And that is my favorite print in the world. And they found this little frog or toad outside on one of our trees. And again, like I said, we're outside and we're yelling and everything, and they're like, Miss Bobby, look at what we found. Like, okay, I'm coming. And so this is what they found. And then the little boy that's right up top over here, a bug landed on him. And instead of him like being squeamish or flipping out, he carefully walked it to where I was at and was like, look at this. I'm like, can I take a picture of that? I'm like, yeah. And he was very careful with it. And down here, the girls are playing with worms. And I think I heard somebody else say in the breakout session that their kids like to turn over things and look for roly-polies. Well, my girls were the #1 bug finders in my room. And they're enjoying worms, and they would go outside and look for them and see where they could dig. And we have a digging pit as well. And they would get these worms. So rain or shine, it's always a learning time. And I think I may have said this earlier too. I like rain. In fact, I said it to somebody earlier, or maybe in the class I was in, the breakout session. I was thinking this morning, who's going to get up and get this rainwater for me so I can water my plants? But as you can see inside, first it used to be, oh, you're going to get too wet, oh, you're going to get sick, you can't go outside. But at Friendly Avenue, oh, we are ready. We are ready. We asked that children bring in their rain gear, is what we call it. So when it does rain, that doesn't keep us from being inside. And I'll say it again, it's about freedom and not being bound, free to explore, free to move around. And right here, these girls are playing in the mud. And I don't know that I showed the other picture, but the little girl in the pink jacket had mud all over her hands, and she realized that she could make a handprint with the mud on the sidewalk. Surprise! Well, this is my birthday party. Last year, we were outside playing, and I was somewhere else playing around, and my co-teacher knew that my friends started making or preparing my birthday party. And I don't know, you can't probably make out his picture too well, but the little boy in the black shirt at the top, that's my ex-boyfriend. And he decided that he wanted to surprise me with a party. So by the time that I came over, they're all like, surprise! And they're singing happy birthday to me, and we're eating my favorite chocolate cake, and it was so good. And they did that all by themselves. And again, not gender specific. Look at the boys in the kitchen. And we had a mud cafe. Well, we have one, but over here is where it was. And they decided that they wanted to give me a surprise birthday party, my 5-year-old party last year. And like I said before, we are doing Project Approach to Learning. And ironically, for the past 4 years, we have had this couple come by every year for the past 4 years around this. Last year, I marked the very day that they came. I was super excited about it. But anywho, so they came by, and my boys called me the Goose Whisperer. Because 4 years ago, when they came and we seen them, the kids noticed that they were out in our environment, and they wanted to get a closer look. And when we did, they noticed that one of the geese had a tag on their neck, and it was K1 on it, K1, K1, and then the other one did not. So they started asking questions. why does that goose have a tag on the neck, and why does it say K1, and why doesn't the other one have a? So those are all those exploratory questions that we need to go and find answers to. And eventually we found the answers to it. The kids knew which one was the male and which one was the female, because that was a question too. They wanted to know where the eggs came from, and that was a question that we sent home to get some homework about and come back in and find out what the answers were. Ask your parents and see what they say, and we come back in and then we can talk about it. And then we get to see Daisy is the female's name, and Donald is the male name, as you already see, that the kids chose 4 years ago, and that it just stuck. And so we get to actually see the eggs and see her nesting. And my boys call me the goose whisperer, because when I see Daisy, I'll say, okay, Daisy, where are you going to put your nest this year? Because one year she put it close to the street, and we can't come feed you over there, Daisy. Now, and this is how I'm talking to her. Now, Daisy, if you put your nest over there on the street, we can't come see you. And the kids are with me, and they're noticing that I respect Daisy. I did not invade her space, but I'm talking to her. And some might say crazy, I call it fun. But anywho, Daisy understood me, because Daisy put her nest the following year where we could get to her and feed her. And the kids learned what was best to feed the geese. And bread is not harmful, but we learned that it's like giving them candy. And we don't want them to eat too much candy, because candy is not always good, a lot of times. So, children will not remember their favorite worksheet, but they will remember their experiences. And this is one of my babies now. He's not my boyfriend, but he was afraid to kind of get down and dirty. And I said, well, can I help you with anything? And at first he was like, no, and he walked around and checked everybody else out. And then by the time that we took that stroll through the mud, he was ready to go. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you so much. So April, I have one quick question for you. Because when you first started, you said that you were outside with the babies for like an hour and a half in the morning, an hour and a half in the afternoon.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
the first thing that pops into my mind is all the routine care needs that very young age group requires. And you showed babies having bottles outside. You know, so how do you balance the sanitation needs, the routine care needs, and all those really cool, awesome things that you're doing while you're outside? How do you make all that work?
Well, I think the main thing is we're blessed that there's 3 teachers in our class. We have 10 babies, but we have 3 teachers.
Okay.
So there's always basically one of us at a time that is pretty much responsible for routine care. So and we take turns, because we all like to be outdoors, but we just share that responsibility, that whoever we would like does diapers. So one teacher is transporting kids in and out to get diapers done. And like if they're due for a bottle, one teacher will take that one child in, and we'll wash our hands and wash their hands, and then take them outside, and we can have the bottle. And then, of course, when they're done with the bottle, we can take them back in, put the bottle away, and wash their hands, and then they go back out. So there's a whole lot of in and out.
Right.
But the child is outside most of the whole time. They're only in for hand washing and diapering.
So you're able to keep your ratios the way they need to be, and you're able to accomplish appropriate sanitation and meet their routine care needs efficiently,
Right.
while they still have this great experience. So that was just one question.
Yeah, and I mean, I think at the beginning it can be tricky to think, oh my gosh, I need to do all this, but I also have to follow all these rules and have all these guidelines that have to be met. But once you get in the flow of it, and you see the happiness that comes from the kids being outside, that you get in like this routine, and it just flows really easily. We have no trouble with it whatsoever.
Any of you who take care of infants and toddlers, educate very young children, have any questions about how they make this work in their outdoor environment for that specific age group? All right, what about for preschool? So you guys are out about how long with the older age group?
We are out probably about 3 hours or a little more some days, because we take nature walks as well. I didn't put that in the slide presentation, but we're outside at least about 3 hours or 3.5. Yeah.
And I know with preschoolers, you know, when they're out there outside playing and somebody has to go to the bathroom, and you know, you might normally would be inside at center time, you're sort of doing your actual center time outside. So what happens when children need to use the restroom? Is it the same sort of setup, or do you do it a little differently?
Again, we have 3 teachers as well. Usually around 12 o'clock is when I get my 3rd teacher, but we can transition at least enough children out inside where I'll still be in ratio outside, so we do it legally. So of course, but we'll just transport them inside and then come back out. But a typical day, they know the schedule because we try to stay on that schedule. Sometimes, you know, it doesn't always go that way, and that's okay. And we'll just give out warnings, but we usually try to, in the morning, our families know when you're transitioning inside to outside to encourage your friend to go to the restroom. And then after snack, they have that little free time, so we're going outside in about 5 more minutes, so if you haven't gone to the restroom, then you can go. And then if they're outside and need to go, we definitely will take the children in and go to the restroom and have those breaks.
One other thing that stood out to me is, what did you guys think of the pictures of the children covered in mud from head to toe? What did you think of that? Okay, how many of you feel like all of your parents in your program would be completely on board with that? You think your families were okay? So you're doing that.
They have to have like 2 full changes of clothes in their coats at all times.
Okay, so you may not have heard wrong, but she said they have to have 2 full changes of clothes in their coats at all times, because when they come back inside they're dirty. So you're implementing these outdoor activities, these really messy outdoor activities, and your families are on board. Anybody have any families who might be reluctant or wonder about this? What are those barriers there for families? And speak up loud so we can all hear it.
We have parents that feels that being outside all the time have germs,
Okay.
and they get concerned about they keep getting germs. For some reason they do, and no matter what you tell them, they're like, no, I can't see her playing in that dirt all the time or in the sandbox. You know, they get very, you know.
So they're concerned that children are going to get sick, exposed to germs if they're dirty.
And windworm thing that goes around and feels disconnected to the sandbox and stuff like that.
But I think, like Sandy, our director, she is really awesome. When parents come to even take a tour of our school, from very beginning, we tell them, this is our school philosophy. This is what we do with our children. This is what we think children need to have every day. And so we can just be really honest with parents and say, maybe this is not the best fit for you. Maybe this is not where your child should come to school if you can't see the benefits from what we see. And so if you're just really honest, and even when they first started with my class, once they're 8 weeks old, I tell them their feet are going to get dirty. Like, they can't really go anywhere, but their feet and their socks are going to get dirty from day one. We don't try to keep them spotless and on the blanket and perfect. I mean, they kick their feet. We take a walk. Sometimes we just set the little ones in the sandbox because they like to feel the texture just as much as the older ones. So I think as long as you're open and honest from the very beginning, you really don't run into that.
So parents get a lot of information before they even enroll, so they have a good understanding about what to expect.
Right.
And then they can figure out whether or not it's a match. And then probably some guidance on reading a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
Leptin, and here's all the health benefits for actually being outside, because it is very healthy for children to be outside. Go ahead, you had a comment.
A lot of parents just will not dress their kids to go outside. They want them to stay spotless. They put on the best clothes, and no matter what you say, they want those kids to be clean when they come back and pick them up. And you go through this a lot and saying, look, this is a baby. This baby's going to get dirty. If you don't want this child to get dirty, then maybe you need to take the child somewhere. No, I want the child to see, bring something for the child to get dirty.
So do you guys have a response to that about the clothing factor? Do you have a thought on that one?
Yeah, we had a parent like that too. She would say, she wanted her kids to get dirty and they need to be the same way she come in. And so being the owner, they would get the kickback of it, and I would just get the phone call about it. And so what I ended up doing was, I made sure she got dirty every day. That way, you understand what I say is what's going to happen. She don't get dirty, I'm not going to change it, we're not going to do anything about it. That's what she wants to do. She wants to just play in dirt all day. There's nothing we can do. Either you go buy the rules, or you're just going to come home and you're going to come get a dirty bed. I mean, her face will be clean, but if that's what she wants to do, we can't restrict that. It's not fair. If you want to change your clothes before she go home, I'd be more than happy to do so, but do understand that is what's going to happen.
So you have some policies in place and just helping parents understand that. It's a delicate balance, and it can be hard to bring folks. I know I've got a hand back here in the yellow. Did you have a comment?
Yes. What I want to say is that all of this is understandable as far as coming from a parent's point of view. But however, as educators, if we inform them, right here, she said, well, it's important that, they go outside, or tell them why. In that closed space all day, you have more germs inside than this.
It's not good for their health. That's right. Germs are airborne. It's not just in the ground, but they're airborne.
Yes. As educators, if we educate ourselves to educate the parents, because a lot of times they just don't know.
That's right.
Different. So you can promote the outside without saying, this is what we do, but tell them why, and tell them the benefits behind why we do it. So it's all about educating them on what we already know.
Yeah.
Right.
Not just saying, we go outside, that's just what we do because it's what we do here. But the importance of outside.
One
Right.
here, and then we'll go to you.
Yeah, so I'm a little know is that the mud that you in it, are your the feet in it or it's just something that you put on it?
That's mud, topsoil with water.
It's just on a tarp.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and it was kind of set up, I don't know if you can see the net, but it's a netting down kind of,
It's like an obstacle course.
Yeah, it was set up like an obstacle course, and we went through several different things, but this happened to be, I guess, the best look on us.
Like in basic training.
Exactly.
Go preschool on and get a good core workout.
Yeah.
It's having fun.
Yeah.
I was gonna say to you, you are always gonna have those one parent who won't bring in the extra clothes. You're gonna have that one parent who is just really cranky that their child got dirty. We have a ton of just extra clothes in, size 2, size 3, size 4. And if they don't bring the clothes, or they send the child in nice clothes and there's no extra clothes, they're gonna come home with PGP stamps all over.
Exactly. That's what we
And
do.
that's exactly what we do. We'll
Yeah.
take things from our dramatic play area.
I have no problem
Yeah.
doing that. She does not want this child to get dirty, period. She
Yeah.
wants the best.
Yes, Sandy has a response. We hear you. You can't break through.
No, I can't break through.
Go ahead, Sandy, have a response. And then what we're going to do is let everybody have like a quick stretch break, and then we'll be ready for our next session at 2:30. Go ahead,
The
Sandy.
truth is there's some attitudes you cannot change.
Yes.
But one of the things that we found incredibly beneficial is the dirty child that goes home, the parent just sees the end result. But we are really intentional about doing photography and documentation about what's happening while they're getting the way they look when they
Right.
get up.
Okay.
So that it's just not, my child's just wallered in the mud all day and had no valuable connection
Experience.
with the day. And if they choose to do that, then that's just fine. But then we can post those pictures of the children in the mud and show how they're measuring, how they're weighing, how they're, developing social skills, whatever it's doing, and then you're just showing the image of the education, and the dirt happens to be a part of the process. So it's not the end results for your child to go home as nasty as they can. And, you know, that's not the win of the day.
Yes.
The win of the day is that your child was engaged in learning, and sometimes it looks like this.
Yes.
And I think that can really transform the parents' opinions from where they come in. Yeah, this is not for my child, so well, at least maybe I can tolerate it.
Yes.
And some parents do, like, all of a sudden, like, they're not sure they love it, and then all of a sudden one day they just come in and go, oh my gosh, this is awesome. I don't know why I ever thought, oh, my child should be clean when I picked them up.
I love those stories. And,
Yeah.
and the picture that you had of your mud day and the mom was with her child.
Yeah, that is so her, like, all day.
And that process can happen, and though you're in a hard spot with this parent who, you know, you feel like you're just kind of right here butting heads and you won't make progress, it's possible that maybe there could be a breakthrough at some point. As I'm thinking about this, there's a good article that I read that's related to the health benefits of children actually getting dirty and getting their hands in dirt. I will hunt that down and we'll post that on our website, the equip.info website. So if you can use that as a resource to help you have that conversation with the family, then we'll look at that, and maybe there's some other resources too. But I know we're getting close to our time. Let's go a couple more comments and then we'll go. Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
She might want to even invite the parent to come have a day and sit activities and see what their child does to get dirty.
Yeah, and that, Cindy, when you were making that comment, what I thought about is what that parent sees, that parent perspective is, they're dropping their clean child off, and everybody has that sense of, you know, my child is beautiful and, you know, and clean, and look how cute they are, you know, you have that pride, and so they're dropping that child off, and then, but they don't see all the wonderful things that are happening.
Right.
You guys see that, and then they just only see that pickup time, and so making that connection with that family of what all, you know, the dirty clothes are. I was fortunate that both my children went to a high quality early childhood program, and they spent a lot of time outside, and when I would pick them up, they were literally either painted from head to toe, or they were muddy or dirty, and so I had the Clean Kid kit in my car. A lot of times, you know, busy families, we would leave child care, and then we were off to a dinner with somebody, or we had another event we had to go to, and they sort of needed to be freshened up a little bit. So in my car, I'd have some wipes, sometimes a washcloth, the extra change of clothes if needed, hairbrush. We could take care of it good enough to get to the next place after child care. So that worked for our family to do that. And we'd pick up and I'd be like, oh, you had a great day today, I can tell. So let's go in the van and see if we can clean it. So thank y'all for answering the questions. I appreciate everybody's comments too. Thank you for viewing this content. You can now press the blue arrow, which allows you to complete a few more questions for the evaluation part of this session. Once you are finished with those questions and press the final blue arrow, your DCD-EE training certificate should appear. At that point, we encourage you to right-click and save the certificate if you're using a PC or laptop, or you can also screenshot it if you're using a tablet or phone. Once you have submitted the evaluation, you will receive a confirmation email from us, and your certificate will also be in that email. Of course, if there are any challenges along the way with technology, do not hesitate to reach out to us at equipped@uncg.edu. You can email us and we will respond back and give you the certificate if needed. Thank you again. Thank you for viewing this recorded content from Equipped. We encourage you to visit our website at equipped.info to learn more about how Equipped supports and encourages early childhood professionals in Guilford County. Thank you.